Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It's 9 o'clock. It's a Monday. It's time for 5 by 5 episode 3. If you're new to this concept, the idea is simple. I'm going to talk about 5 completely different things, and I'm going to give myself 5 minutes on each topic. When the countdown gets to 0, I have to stop talking. We've got some really interesting things that I'm going to be talking about, including a special guest who is one of the top nerds in the world. That should give you a bit of a clue. But let's get straight into the first segment. So a lot of people on the channel ask me about characterization and how to create your own character. So I wanted a special guest to talk about this, somebody who knows all about characterization. So I've asked Tom Crosbie, the performing nerd, to talk for 5 minutes about the importance of characterization. This is a guy that went from being a normal magician to a superstar just by using character. So here is Tom Crosbie, the performing nerd. I don't know anybody who knows more about characterization than you. You absolutely embody it. What can you do to help us understand characterization as a magician?
So I feel like having a character isn't necessarily the be all and end all, but it makes life so much easier. Like if you can find a character that you can portray on stage, and I don't mean like a character like Rudy Kobe or Piff or even Morgan and West to a degree, but just having that like knowing who you are on stage and having that definition. And it's really hard to create for yourself. I think it's really difficult to try and find a character yourself. A lot of the time it's easier for other people to see you and define you.
Yeah.
Like I think one of the easiest things that I had, because I worked with Matthew Wright, and Matthew Wright turned to me and said, "You are a nerd, just be the nerd," which is of course where the character came from, and now I am the nerd. So yeah, I think one of the best bits of advice I give to people is to get a load of your friends, whether it's online or in person or whatever, and get them to write down 5 words that describe you, or a number of words, and then you find and like tell them to be brutally honest, but find the words that really work for you. A friend of mine, she got people to do it for her, and they wrote down things like pink and sparkly, and I think a fairy was one of them. So she decided to become a pink sparkly fairy character, and that really works for her because that's already how people see her. A character doesn't need to be a cartoon character like, as I said, Rudy Kobe or Morgan and West or Piff. But you look at people like David Williamson. He's got a character. It's not a cartoon character. It's an extension of him. It's him turned all the way up to 11, right? So it doesn't need to be anything particularly cartoonish, as I say.
So it's really important to kind of take what you are and mold the character out of that.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, I mean, I'm fairly sure that my friend, who is now a pink sparkly fairy, isn't actually a pink sparkly fairy, but she likes sparkly things, So but by creating a character, it then defines every other decision that you make, right? My character would never do mind reading, right? My character would never do an ambitious card, right? So but my character would memorize the phone book, right? My character would go to all of this extra trouble to try and impress girls, or and it makes every decision so much easier because it's already been made for you. And it's not being made for you, it's not you making the decision, it's your character.
Okay.
So it kind of it shifts a lot of the decision making away from you and onto the character. And as long as you can define your character well, yeah, it makes writing a show a lot easier. I don't know how much of it necessarily applies to close-up, but certainly I know a lot of acts that do character work in close-up, and that it works a treat because, especially if you suffer from stage fright, my God, not being yourself, like by playing a character, maybe you've got stage fright, but your character doesn't, and you're hiding behind this extra mask, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing.
You mentioned Piff.
Hmm.
Did he? I mean, I'm pretty sure John Vanderput was never a green dragon, or we can't. Where do you think that came from, or do you think that it's more about the type of dragon he is? That is this sarcastic.
Yeah, I think with Piff, the dragon costume is, I mean, he's probably the one to talk to about it, not me, but the dragon costume is more of an affectation, whereas he himself is not miserable, but very straight faced, and he yeah, he doesn't pull his punches, and if he's not happy with how you're behaving on stage, he's going to let you know. Yeah, so but I think it is a character, as I say, it's turning all that up to 11 and being fun and entertaining with it. Yeah, I think honestly, just having your friends describe you, I think is incredibly important. Just seeing how other people see you, and then turning that up as high as it will go.
That is amazing advice. Tom, thank you so much. Okay, I'm going to do a download review right now. We're going to be looking at a new download that's come out, and it's called Ringature by Ed Ellis. Ringature by Ed Ellis. Now, here's the idea. The idea is very simple. You take a ring, you borrow a ring, you have a card picked, you have a card selected, you take an elastic band. Everything's examinable. You wrap the ring onto the elastic band, wrap it around the deck, the ring and the elastic band disappear, and then they reappear wrapped around the selected card. It's a really nice idea. Now, I saw Ed Ellis lecture something similar to this many years ago, and I've actually used this particular sleight, not with a ring before, but I've used this particular sleight for years, and it's a really visual vanish of a rubber band. What he's done in this download is he's brought it back to the forefront, because a lot of people don't know about this, but the other thing that he's done is he's added the ring, which, trust me, makes a world of difference. Now, this is an amazing product. It's a very cheap download. It's available from Penguin Magic, and it is really strong. Here's what I'm going to do. I want to have a look at the trick first of all, and then I'll round this whole review off. Okay, guys, so I have a pack of playing cards, and like I said earlier on, this is normally done with a selected card, but I'm going to be honest with you, I'm going to be using this as an ace revelation. So let me show you how I do it. We've just done a whole bunch of stuff with a pack of cards, and I then bring out an elastic band. I borrow a ring. This is my wedding ring, but that'll do. Now, one thing that I do when I go into this routine is I'm going to be doing Danny Garcia's ring and band move, which, if you don't know it, it looks like this. You have a band, you have a ring, and you say that you're going to penetrate the band with the ring, and you do this, and you put the band right there onto the ring. It's nice because it actually gets you into the perfect position for this, so there's no fiddling. So that's Danny Garcia's. Let's go into the actual full thing now. So I've got an elastic band, and I've took a borrowed ring, I've wrapped it around. I'm going to wrap the elastic band around the deck. In fact, I'm going to quadruple wrap it to make sure it's all wrapped around there. Hopefully you can see that. Now I want to watch that elastic band with that ring on very carefully. If I just do this, I can actually make it completely disappear, and it really has gone. It's vanished, it's completely disappeared. So the idea now is to try and bring it back. Well, if I just I rub here, what happens is we have the elastic band come back, and what happens is the ring is still attached to it, and it's come back right here on 4 cards, the 4 aces. Right, so that is a performance of Ringature. Now, I'll be honest with you, this is perfect for walk-around situations. Ed Ellis, when he actually performs this, he actually does it there's a couple of live performances, and both times he does it in sort of a walk-around situation. Because of the angles, it's not that angle sensitive, but because of what you're doing, it's better to actually do it in a sort of a walk-around situation. And like I said, when I was performing it, I think the perfect lead-in for this routine is Danny Garcia's ring and band move, because one of the problems that I had with this is to get it into position. It's a little bit fiddly. I'm going to put it on here now. I'm going to twist it. But if you do the Danny Garcia thing, you're in the perfect position to go straight into Ed Ellis's routine. It's really visual. What I like about it is it's a nice transition piece. So let's say that you've been performing magic with a rubber band, or let's say you've been doing a couple of card tricks. You say, actually, let me do one more thing for you with this deck of cards. Can I borrow an elastic band? Or, can you examine this elastic band? Can I borrow a ring? Perfect. Let me show you what I'm going to do. Look, you can actually take this ring and, penetrate it onto the band, but we're going to see if we can go one step further. And I think it makes a great transition piece into going to other routines. The other thing that I'd say is when Ed Ellis explains this routine on the download, he has 1 card selected. When you start trying this, if you download it, you'll find that sometimes it can be a little bit difficult using just 1 card. The card will buckle if you're not careful. Don't want to give too much away. I've found it a lot easier if you use 2 or more cards, because you've got a bigger thickness to pull the move off. So I've been, as I say, I've been doing this move for years, but without the ring. But whenever I've done this move before, and in fact, I think I've done it on a magic Magic Live ages ago. I use it as a 4Ace production. But the other thing that I think would be really nice to do this is borrow a man's wedding ring and have two people pick cards. Have a man pick a card and a woman pick a card, and then have the two cards lost in the deck and use the wedding ring to find the two cards. Or even combine it with Anniversary Waltz, have two cards picked and apparently lost in the pack. The elastic band finds the card with the wedding ring on and the two cards are fused together. I think that'd be a really nice way of doing it as well. It's highly recommended. It's a worker. I'm going to give it 95%. Okay, guys, let's talk about 3 letters that come up on this channel over and over again. WPR, the Wizard Product Review, or as they're now known, the Wizard Magic Review. I have lost count of the amount of people that ask me why I left the Wizard Product Review. So I'm going to tell you right now exactly what happened. I think it's the first time I've actually talked about this. And you have to understand, and this is a big misconception that everybody has, so let me clear this up right now. I never worked for World Magic Shop. I never worked for David Penn. I had no financial interest in the company at all. If it made lots of money, brilliant. If it didn't make lots of money, I had no control of it. It's not like they were giving me a commission when I was filming the Wizard Product Review. I literally went and did it for fun. You see, I was working with World Magic Shop before Dave Penn even came around. I was working with World Magic Shop when it was owned by a guy called Jim Traynor. And I was releasing magic through there, all of my early DVDs, right up until, I think, Split Happens and Mirage. I was actually releasing through World Magic Shop. And I used to go and help them dem the stuff. I'd dem my routines at conventions. I actually went over to Las Vegas and did it over there as well. And then Dave Penn got involved in World Magic Shop and eventually became co-owner of it with Jim Traynor. And they wanted to do a review show. And initially, they just had me do the show on my own. And it was okay. But then Dave had the idea of having 2 people sit down on a couch, and that's when the Wizard Product Review blew up, and it really did. And you know, there was a point when we went to Magic Live, when myself and Dave Penn went to Magic Live and did sort of the Wizard Product Review live over there, and that's when we filmed Craig and Dave Hit the Road. It was like One Direction. I mean, we were magic famous. You know, we were walking down the convention, and everybody would be stopping us every 10 seconds. It was crazy, right? So why did I leave the Wizard Product Review? Well, the main reason was, a lot of people say, oh, you fell out with David Penn, or oh, you got taken. Well, I never had anything to do with the company. I did it because me and Dave were mates, and it was just a fun thing to do, right? That's why I did it. I was releasing products, I was releasing magic, and it gave me exposure. A lot of people knew who I was because I was doing the Wizard Product Review. I had a real big name back in the day because of me doing the Wizard Product Review with Dave Penn and the rants and everything. But then 2 things happened. The first thing that happened is I had a kid, I had Ryland. And the second thing that happened is my own business took off. Because when I had Ryland, I wanted to be able to, my wife Sarah, who you all know from sitting behind the camera, she was a deputy head of a large primary school, and she brought in the lion's share of the income, and I was just a jobbing performer. And I knew that when Sarah had a kid, or me and Sarah had a kid actually, she's behind the camera looking at me, I knew that I needed to provide for my family, and I knew that I couldn't just dick around, and I needed to actually go out and make money being a magician. So that's when I set up my company, Slightly Unusual, Non-Stop Kids, and I was spending a lot of time building those businesses up and really trying to establish those businesses. That combined with having a family, and I had Ryland, and then only a couple of years later I had Thea. And then obviously there's myself and Sarah as well. I just didn't have time. Now, if you look back to close to when I left the Wizard Product Review, the location changed. And Dave was trying everything to try and make sure that I could still stick around. We actually shot some of the Wizard Product Review back in my house. And that worked for a little while. And then Sean came in, and the whole idea is we'd take it in turns. So Dave would always be there, and then Sean would do one, then I'd do one, and then me and Sean would do one. But I just got so busy, you know, I was letting Dave Penn down. I was like, look, I can't do it because I've got this come up, I've got this meeting, I can't do it, I really can't do it. I had to make a decision. Either go and carry on doing the Wizard Product Review, which was fun, but made me absolutely no money at all, or focus on my business and be able to put food on my family's plate. So that is why I left. It had nothing to do with falling out with Dave Penn. I have been friends with him for years. He is a really great guy. Nobody can say anything bad about Dave. Me and Dave are still tight, and we hung out with each other at Blackpool this year. But I just got busy, and I don't regret it, because now I've got 2 great companies and things are going really well, and that wouldn't have happened if I hadn't have done the Wizard Product Review. Now, fast forward, Now, why am I doing this YouTube channel? I'm doing this YouTube channel because those businesses are now successful. I don't need to be involved in the day-to-day of those businesses. I really don't. I have time to do something else, and I enjoy doing magic. I enjoy creating content, and that's why I'm doing this channel now. Would I go back to the Wizard product review? Why would I? I've got my own successful YouTube channel that I enjoy creating content for. However, and I'm telling you right now, if Dave Penn was interested in me going off and doing a one-off Wizard product review for the good old days, and then he can come on and do an interview with me on Talk Magic, I would love that. So if you guys want to make it happen, speak to Dave Penn. So one thing a lot of people have asked about on this channel is they've said, can we see more live performances of you going out and performing in the real world? Now, obviously, we're locked down here in the UK, and even when we're not, social distancing makes that a little bit difficult, but not impossible. And as soon as we're slightly less locked down, I will be doing that. Luckily, I have literally bazillions of videos of me performing over the last few years, and so I will be sharing some of these on 5x5. Now, the video I'm about to share for you is a wedding in Merseyside, right in the city centre near Liverpool, and I'm performing Murray Mint. Now for me, Murray Mint by Michael Murray is one of the best coin routines you can do. It is absolutely phenomenal. It's kind of like taking Anniversary Waltz and putting it into a coin routine. Now, if you've seen my honest trailer for Egyptian Ink, it was terrible. This is Egyptian Ink on steroids. It's a super commercial routine. Here's the live performance. Let me know in the comments if you do it and what you think of Murray Mint. I know, but I need a couple, and I need them to get, they're going to do it because the other thing is, I know you guys are a couple as well, but I need it because it's his £2 coin, you see. So whoever
My 10p though, isn't it?
That's a good point, but £2 coin's worth more. So so I'm going to put the 10p away for a minute. And do you want to examine the £2 coin? This is, but check it out, make sure it's okay. And I need you to take that. And what I want you to do is take the lid off for me. And I want you to just put your initials in the middle of the coin. Very good. And blow. And just stick your finger out. Just give it a rub. Is it dry? There you go. I'll show it to the camera. There you go. Initials, initials, initials.
Hold on, I didn't quite get it.
Didn't you? Okay. There we go. Okay?
Yep.
Cool. Hold your hand, pass the pen across. And hold your hand out and squeeze. And turn your hand over. Very good. Don't let me get there. Now, the other thing we have is this, the 10p. Same thing. Put your initials on them. I'll hold it here for you. Put your initials on. That's very cool. And we'll just show the camera. And blow. Very good. And hold your hand out. And squeeze. Very good. Turn your hand over. So
you've got the 10p and he's got the £2 coin.
You got 10p, you got £2 coin with your initials. So we know each other. The reason that I got you two initials, that way you know those coins are yours. It's not like a million coins with an initial on like that. Totally yours. Now, you've heard of sleight of hand. You saw me do some sleight of hand earlier on. Sleight of hand is all about the hand being faster than the eye. So if I took the pen, squeezed it, make it disappear from there and make it appear over there, that's sleight of hand. If I take the pen and squeeze it over there and make it go over there, that's sleight of hand. If I put it in my hand, make it disappear and bring it back, that's sleight of hand. Tap it on my knee, make it disappear and have it go back behind your ear, that's sleight of hand. Hold your hand out for me. Look, if I do this, it goes underneath your elbow, that's sleight of hand. No, I love the look on your face. No, seriously, I can do it. Look, it's in the hand, you can't see it till I pull it out. If I do this, it goes back underneath your elbow. This is sleight of hand. Look, if I take the lid and put the lid on the pen, it disappears and goes right down underneath the elbow. Put the lid back on, the pen disappears. Take the pen top and squeeze, pen top disappears. Pen top goes behind your ear, pen goes behind my ear, look up.
Oh my God!
That's sleight of hand. Watch the pen top, watch the pen top. 1, 2, 3, did you see it go? Look up, look up, look up, look up.
Bloody hell, it's in his ear.
It's in my ear. That's sleight of hand. But the coins, I can't do sleight of hand, it's in their hands. And I'm not going to manipulate the coins. Say hi from me. I'm going to manipulate. Here you go, let me just do this. Very good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to manipulate. Right, no phones doing the performance. I'm going to manipulate the ink on the coins. You guys, how long have you been together?
No, you've got
10 years.
10 years, right, watch this. Oh yeah, married for like 4 and a half, yeah.
Oh my God, he's even a mind reader!
No, I just got a memory that told me earlier on. Right, okay, here we go. Watch this, watch this, watch this, watch this. 1, 2, 3. Did you guys feel anything? No? This only works on couples like you. Turn your hand over. There's the £2 coin. Open your hand. You've been holding on to that the whole time. No. You see, what we have is we have a situation where the initials are gone.
Oh my God.
You put your initials on there. Check that out. No initials. They've gone. The initials have gone.
They're going to be both on here.
Check this out.
Check this out.
Check this out. No. Turn your hand over. One finger at a time. Look at this. There's the 10p that you put your initials on, right?
Yeah.
That's been in your hand the whole time. Just
Yeah.
like you guys are going to be together forever.
Until nothing
I
move.
have story of my life. Just because you've been holding this the whole time, your initials are on there. No way I could have moved the ink over. But what we've now got on the other side, just like you guys are going to be together forever, the two initials are on the same point.
Oh my
God.
I'm sorry for the language. but
Every
Every
single time you look at that, you can remember why
This is
you guys are
dynamo.
absolutely
Dynamo.
perfect for each other.
We've
You
got
can
the
keep that as a
Stockport
souvenir,
dynamo.
there goes for you.
Oh my
This is
God.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you very much. No, thank you. There you go.
How do you do that?
Very
Well,
well.
you've got an S7 out of it as well.
I don't know. But
You've got an S7 out.
So one of the things people want me to talk about on 5x5 is funny stories. And you know what? I think that's an amazing idea. I want to share funny stories. I want to share some of the stories that have happened to me while I've been out performing. I want to hear from you guys as well. You know, we're in a situation at the moment with a global pandemic. There's not much to laugh about. So let's start sharing some stories where we can talk about stuff that really makes us cringe. And I'm going to tell you about my big break. So my big break, now you've got to think back, this is many, many years ago. I'd only been doing kids shows and gigs in village halls and, you know, I was looking for my big break. And then I had a phone call, I had a recommendation and I had a phone call from Rolls-Royce and they wanted to book me for sort of a big annual dinner. And for me at the time, this was huge. I'd never done a gig at this level before. And I was like, oh my gosh, yes, I'm going to be there. And I kind of looked at this gig as this is going to be the thing that's going to put me on the map. I need to make a really good impression. So it was at this big, massive, stately hall over in Derbyshire. And when I got there, you can always tell how posh a venue is by the length of the drive, right? Well, this drive was about 16 miles long. It was massive. And I went down there and I went inside, and inside was this strange little guy, and he was the waiter. Sorry, he wasn't the waiter, he was the event planner, and he was stressed out about everything, absolutely everything. Because it was a big deal for him as well. And so I said, hey, I'm the magician. He's like, oh, great. Okay, this is the room you're going to be in. It was a massive room, big tables. There was about 200 people there. He told me I had to get around all the tables. I was there for about 3 hours. And then he pointed out one of the tables and he said, right there, they're the VIPs. You have to do a special job of the VIPs. I was like, yeah, okay, cool, no problem. Absolutely fine. So I'm working these tables, right? And then I still haven't got over to the VIPs. Every single time I try to go over there, they're busy, they're eating, I don't want to disturb them. And we're about 40 minutes from the end. I'm very inexperienced and the event planner says, look, you need to go over there now. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go over there now. And I knew I had to go in and do the performance of my life. Now, just so you know, their table was near the door that goes into the kitchen. It's important that you know that. You'll see why in a second. So anyway, I go over to the table and I introduce myself. Hi, I'm Craig, I'm the magician. I'm here to show you some magic. They were all really nice and really appreciative. And my big trick back then was interlace. Richard Sanders interlace. If you don't know it, you borrow a ring, it disappears, and it appears on your shoelace. And if you don't know how that trick works, there's a chute that goes down your trouser, and there's a hole in your pocket. There's a magnet in your shoe. You stick a fake lace onto the ring. You put your hand into your pocket. You drop it down the chute, and it attaches to your shoes. Boom, perfect. Done it lots of times, works every single time. It's really great. So I walk over, I know this is my big trick, so I'm going to open with this. So I say, can I borrow a ring, please? And the lady there, who turns out to be like the top guy's wife, and she looks like a Brazilian supermodel, she lends me this ring, and it is massive. You look at the ring and you think Gibraltar, right? It was a massive ring, really, really expensive. So already I'm nervous. I'm like, okay, no problem. Watch. Here we go. I'm going to make the ring disappear. So I'll do the false transfer. Casually put my hand in my pocket. Boom, the ring's disappeared. Now what's happening is I can feel the ring going down the chute, and just about the way it gets to the point of no return, I realise that I haven't put the lace on the ring. So what happens is, as I'm opening the hand to show the ring's disappeared, the ring hits the shoe and bounces off. And I'm like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And I'm looking over there, they're all clapping. Oh yes, very good. Can you bring my ring back? And I plan on saying, yes, and the ring has appeared over there. Just as I'm about to say that, a waiter walks over, walks into the kitchen and kicks the ring into the kitchen. Guys, what would you do? My big break, most important table, really expensive ring, it's just gone into the kitchen. And I go, I think it's disappeared and appeared in the kitchen. Wait there, let me go and check. I go into the kitchen, big bloke won't let me in the kitchen. I explain the situation, push him out of the way. I'm crawling around in the kitchen looking for this ring, really stressing out. And then I feel a tap on my back. I look round and it's the event planner, wondering why I'm crawling around in the kitchen, not actually outperforming magic. I explain the situation to him. 1 minute later, we're both crawling around looking for this ring. I find it behind a box of bananas. And I go back out. They're all looking really stressed out. I walk over to the table. I'm completely embarrassed. I'm disheveled. I had hair back there. The hair was dripping with sweat. I walk over and I go, ta-da. And I give them the ring back. And I walk off so embarrassed. I left the gig totally embarrassed, humiliated, thinking it would never lead to anything and I'd screwed my career up. Turned out they loved me and they booked me for 5 other gigs. The point is, no matter how bad things are, you never know where you're going to get. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks very much again for watching the video. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. If there's a particular topic I talked about that you prefer, let me know down below. And also, I really want to hear your funny stories. If somebody's got a funny enough story, I'm going to be talking about it in a future episode of 5x5. Let me know about that in the comments as well. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll be back next Monday with another 5x5. And don't forget, we've got Magic Lives going up at 6 o'clock every single day. Thanks very much for watching.